Ebusayema Obibi Akwaba, Pinaxtv, so any a lot of issues have been happening lately. Enyasem Ketwa. Now, Arehosema Abeto Pinax Yapuno so HS, the former NPP parliamentary candidate at the Macaulay Clote constituency, Adia Sabri de Okopiem ewo US, Amanonia, Womo Aquakodi a year abain ensem. Na Nina Efa a year and Tokwe so ewo no, and in the temu asabre di chirimu a chese was stabbing the year the second world war the year US a police for ensa asoni mu now ye the two screens no so amawa na chese ye chirimu a Valentino Ninoy ono ehwo asem na ye ke Ninoy no te ye chirimu US na sabre di wakwa kwotwere police for akokumu sanse what the second awo the year ama sabre de the year no nyese ebia nyame edi na fofire a enka wotwa nananom ewonsie do nanso due to one or two smart moves no though she sustained injuries any ade nanso woda so etinkwamu a wogo so epre ne nkwa enya ayarehwe now in some way esiye no we've got a lot of responses from people amafochim say a whole parliamentary candidate Ebane saying like how did all this happen? Ebane saying na when you na esi Valentino Ninoy ni hokani ade a ni wofa ababonten ababekasa achechwe nsemu efa kwanya sa arehosem we esi ye bejebre na yetie nsema a wode etu monten so ye ba ye beto aso.
They had a little argument like every marriage will do, and I think in the course of the conversation she said if things continue the way they are, she may file for a divorce, and I think that didn't sit well with Ninoy. So when I spoke to her yesterday, the guy, according to my niece, Ninoy said if you attempt divorcing, then it's either I kill or I kill myself. So I think in the course of the confrontation, Ninoy went down the kitchen and she said, realizing that she's angry, she went to the room and locked the door. But she came back, broke the door with a knife and started stabbing her. So he stabbed her 3 times. But she, in the pain, pleaded with him to take her to the hospital, which he agreed on the condition that she will not mention the name that is the one who caused the stabbing. So she agreed, and that's the only way he allowed her, okay, dress up and let me take you to the hospital. Fortunately, she had a car key with her. The car key was still in her pocket. So she rushed to the car, locked the car, and followed her with a knife, according to my niece. But she managed to drive in that pain and with the blood coming out straight to the hospital where she works. She says the nurse. So she drove straight to the hospital where she works. So as at yesterday, she was still at the ICU.
Abusia, that was Valentino Ninoy ne wofa ene no ekokasaye na ne nsema wo kenyina ne se meka ne se domestic violence ene koso Valentino ene ne yere enya akasa bia menteme ho ase amemu na numu na Ninoy wife ekokase se de niemesi kono obetimi divorce Ninoy a emse Ninoy out of emotions no ubora kitchen honoma woko de sekan ekowo ne area at some point no ne eka che ne se osre na mani nkuno enya de obe divorce ni biem ni ade a wodi mrika esase nika ki woni hokotena kemu a woye nurse ni nti otimi drive ne ho de ekopie mu ewa yaresabia emu ene ede kotebiri Valentino de no ekotwere a police for akokumu enti wo share screens ne so I'll say former NPP Clote Kole parliamentary candidate Valentino Ninoy Note in US prison custody after allegedly stabbing his wife. Inti na chese chiremwa ne wo fanense ma wo de betu dwa eno no efa de si ya Emma Valentino de sekai ewo ne yire ndei a police for atebiri no de na kwatwe makokumo mo twen se obekọ akwakopie mu ewo court enti ya yenya ne se ne yire nso ewo ayare sabia ogusu a woje ayare hwe na nsem we ekoso no nipa ba kwa wode na no de sem ababetu dwa efa nsem we hu eyese wabroni a wode abasobode pa ama eye Valentino ne hu kani se wabone ho modern se wetimi ama police for ensa ason we sanse domestic violence ade bia enwo se yesoso sokra as women wo eye aware mu anase even relationship mu kra no you don't have to condone that yebetie said they say wabroni in same way etudwa eba yebeto aso
ba won say live na say boyfriend asem o hiri mi a fam brum ane me ha no ya ko say ya ka say we call police station do obehwe me ya chimatu obehwe me ya chimatu ado be me jonwo dina me so se me ni me be ko oh me twa so na ya anya hwe no because some of the dini a me jai ninja ya no na me ni man ka me chi mutum za ele e kucha no ko me should proof
when you na o ka say ya se ba nya botre
after that no so person ya wo be da bi so me no ya do ba be se me yi man tare fu dem se me ntwem trend bi me yi man tare no so bi se mo shifo mo do wa se
me abotre we dey
abotre mi wo bi o ya no se ye nya fu mo abotre mi pa den senti o kwa o mo mi dey no oba face mask eso o kase da bi no o gidi ye because officer na yere don e bia se me misum ko ye bi me dey o kase o be hwe me ya chinya to me de o kan no officer ja odo o nsum me twa so ba me twa so wie no o tell me say ye do for and oba no wa ya dey so ya dey wa bonidi obi o ko be ka so wa wo be bi ba ye so and bi abotin so ko twa ntwa kan no ho ama be so ko e be prove nti different say o bonidi nti oba wa ya dey me say me tie next time me boni pa kunu dia to ase me
boni government ni
me boni di na di wo ka be kan say me hu de me hu bi painting I say bra ola kan say abocha honest me wa kuma pa but me was about e ba be my side a me edi ni papa me be to no ba kwa me twemu na ma phone so say man on me just to ko say one to o sister me twemu ko me pe say me no obi be hu say me no be ma ko me no ba ku be ma.
That's perfect.
And me yes and but nyamo say ni nhyɛ no pass always on me feel say wagimi but so be share sabra sege emba sometimes yen sorry ngina wo unku be da so obi sama
Ghana for mu sorry o
Kazama
obi atu no be lesson emma obi into can obi kasa for experience some me feel say me protect me relationship later of say me gini nti ni ba me ko no wona o chusu no
o si jimi de na wa ile
yes o do respect no me yes say baleta si say oba why ya de say ya chu na
Ebusiafo na chese it is a very good move say Valentino ni note ne yere ebo ne homodene etimi ema police for tebiri ne sanse kwan yo de ne fa so no se nka wampa na chewa ma na hu ne mobo ebi odo ntimpo no jana kasesebre ne yere ato na nanu monsie do. Now the shocking revelation about this whole incident in say just a month ago busome pepe ni ena Valentino ne yere edi na woda Valentino posti ne yere ewo ne Facebook handle wishing with so much sweet words ema ne de ne yere kra ne DP any ade just a month afeye be hu an se onipai ana akọwo ne yiri a o wishing with sweet words akọwo ne sekan a enya sem ketwa amanfo bebre ensem om kan se where did the love go na se say pa aware yetimu ne yetimu saying first we are lovers, second time we are enemies. Ama ye wo ye ho sekan edi ye ho boni di ye ho awudi. How is this possible? Because we share some of the poster Valentino make it on 20th December. Ebrana niyere edi na wodana. You might not think that this is the same manner. It is being reported say wawo niyere sekan about 3 times. wakwako piemu ewo ayaresabia eni nti yegusua edi ensem nechi ebusiafo de be piemu bebebia no yebema mo enhu update ewo ho now yegusua ewo the United States of America na ye monitor yera Ken Ofori-Atta ne issue abeto apono so about immigration status edi issues aberno ama wakwako di ice for ensem na another na wokopiemu ewo the US Immigration Court abusia wokopiemu ewo honom no na chese utimu se man no said your tini ewo screens no social body na atimu se ready and social screens was say US judge demands proof of na chese yebeka ne se Ken Ofori-Atta ni cases no eda so a ekoso a yebehwe na yedi eche na enumu na US immigration lawyer Janelle Oclose ede ensembi ababetudwa efa Ken Ofori-Atta ne court appearance wo making no enra no emunsem de ekoso ene de free mu ebe nyina no US immigration lawyer Janelle Oclose ede ensem ni nchiremu ababetudwa yebejebre na yakwakotie ensem a wode eto emonten so yeba there is more update on this issue yede ebe mamu. Abusia yemfa mofa nche yemfide ne yedi adwuma we ye disa video no ebeba enche that is mami oklu na or explain the mere fact say enrada Ken Ofori-Atta ne court wo koye no na was no more de hwehwe ni nsemufa ne immigration status hu nsemu a ebeto dwa eni ade na yenhwe video no embra.
First of all, generally in immigration proceedings, most immigration proceedings are open to the public. Okay, so as you have just stated yourself, all the prior cases that were called before Mr. Ofori-Atta's case, they were open to the public. You could see what was going on. However, when his case came up, his lawyers requested for an in-camera hearing. Basically, in-camera hearings are private hearings where only the respondent, his attorney, and then also the attorneys for the government and the judge are the only ones that are present. It's typical in cases where privacy is considered necessary. Sometimes there are sensitive issues that are being discussed, or there are issues of national security. So in some way, his lawyers have convinced the judge that this is a sensitive issue, and for that reason, it was made into an in-camera hearing. So as you saw when Mr. Ofori-Atta first walked into the room, what would be normal is to...
Abusia for a year lawyer Oklu na yekoti nsema wode etu dwa se enrada Ken Ofori-Atta ne judgment na ekoso no na more like a virtual one when one call a year court honum in person ochemu said that is the works of ne lawyer no the lawyers for no anytimi plead any judge ne kasaya Ken Ofori-Atta didn't appear in person name it is allowed in the constitution of the US for ne mechanism immigration court proceedings they say you betimi appeal for more like a virtual court proceedings when the issue is very delicate and demanding. Now was cheche muwe muno yebepiem Ghana ha United Party for Communications member Samuel Usu and so abeye an expose about this whole Ken Ofori-Atta US traveling issues I did in same way but and from the look of things no come here say Ken Ofori-Atta the likelihood of he being extradited no very very higher enya sem ketewa but eno no yebedi eno so ho enkomo but then answer na no yenje bre na yentie Samuel Owusu analysis a wa make about Ken Ofori-Atta ebra wode enkrata ekoye ede ekoma the den femo pare sabre ne say wo ko US akodi be 3 weeks bi pe aba and here we are Ken Ofori-Atta etwa be afekula ni echire a on Ghana na said this man has the intentions and the mind say enya dia wo besi Ghana hanum say ene china at any point in time because nkawaya na dwen say obeba Ghana from the letter or so even before the elections ne eba bekoso no he would have been in Ghana by now so onwi ahye there and onye na dwene na omra yentie samusu nsem ode tudwa.
First of all, Ken Ofori-Atta has always been lying to the people of this country.
What do you mean by lies?
So I have in my hand there his letter that he wrote to the former chief of staff, Frema Opare, and listen to what he said to convince Frema before being allowed to leave the country. Request for approval to travel for medical checkup. Say greetings as usual. He will greet us even in budget. He greets us. Point 1. Trust this letter finds you well in high spirits. Once again, Bible. 2. This is to formally request your approval to travel to Rochester, Minnesota, USA for a medical checkup from 4 January. Check the date. Listen to the date. 4 January 2025 to 28 January 2025.
When was this written?
2nd January 2025. This is, you see, we have just decided to this. What? Check. Everything is there.
Okay. Why this?
So the man had deceived the authorities that he was just going away for only maximum 3 weeks. And that by the 28th of January 2025, he will be back to town. This was what he told the authorities, only to find himself in the United States of America and begin the process of what? Altering his residential status to become a permanent person. Roland, let me tell you something. And for those I've heard, I don't know whether Frank Davis is his lawyer or not, because anytime I see any statement,
Frank Davis representing.
I don't know whether he represents. We must be careful.
But Frank Davis is not here. Please,
yes.
Statement that
you see,
do not
Roland,
cast aspersions on it. On his
one day I will die. One day you will die.
Yes.
What Ken Ofori-Atta is doing, we must put it on record. Is he saying that now he doesn't want to come back to Ghana at all? If he does not want to come to Ghana at all, and the event that he dies like I will die, and they make any attempt to bring the corpse to this country, I will sue the corpse. That would mean that Ghana is only a country that wants corpse. It's not, yes, not a cemetery. You understand? That come back to your country. You told the authorities that you were only going to spend 3 weeks. 3 weeks are turned into almost 2 years.
He said he's been sick. That's what you read.
The man, when you saw him yesterday, does it look like someone who is sick?
I don't understand.
So fit, he has even put on weight. So handsome. Even in the mask, he's handsome. Nobody is saying that you have committed any crime. Come back to your country and answer pertinent questions, because we know that our monies are missing. If it is not with you, come and help us to locate where the monies are. You say, Imbano, you won't come. All right. The cops will come. We live in this country. So clearly, what is happening is a very serious matter. But the judge raised certain fundamental issues with the response from the attorney, the U.S. attorney. On the matter of extradition, they are saying they don't have the document before them. The judge says he does not have the document before him to make any determination on that matter. Did you listen to the judge?
Yes.
So what that tells me is that the Attorney General must immediately, if they did it by DHL, or they must find out where the extradition application is. Now, those that are questioning why we are picketing at the U.S. Embassy must now begin to revise their nose. It's as a result of the indication that has been given to the U.S. Embassy. That is why the attorney could go to court without even the proof in his hand to tell the judge that, hey, the people have won. They have filed an extradition orders. This morning from here, I'm going to the United States of Ghana, Embassy in Ghana, to pick it, to drum into their ears that they cannot blow hot and cold. They cannot let the United States be a sanctuary for corrupt African officials.
How do you mean?
We are saying somebody has taken our resources. It's with you. Bring the person. You are saying no. We should go through process. The small boys, they have been coming for them here. Abu Trika and go. If we were also going to go through the same process with them, do you think we will allow anybody to go?
But we have a treaty with the US.
Yeah, so that treaty must also work. It's reciprocal. It's not subsidiary. We are a sovereign country. They are a sovereign country. We must respect ourselves. They must do what is needful. Either than that, the United States will not be respected by me, neither my offsprings, those that are dead, for they will be seen for who they are. That is a country that harbors politically, criminally minded personalities, being female or male.
But you can't make that attribution now.
Which one?
The United States are bringing so-called criminal.
What you are saying is that someone is in court, 78 charges. The OSP has filed 78 charges against Ofori-Atta. The man is saying he's not coming. What does he tell you?
Now the case has been adjourned to April.
They don't intend to bring the man. April, they will move to June. December. By the time you realize about 10 years over there, then the status changes. And this is why the minority that held that press conference, that they have a problem with the U.S. banning the processing of immigrant visas. I don't understand it. Wouldn't you be happy that by this whole process, Ofori-Atta will be barred from processing his immigration status or changing his immigration status so that he is brought back to this country? In any case, we are not even sure whether if they decide to bring him back, because now we understand that he holds 3 different passports. If they do not bring Ofori-Atta back, one day when I become somebody in this country, hold a ministerial appointment, all that I will do is that I will loot from you and go and live in Togo and change my status and have a Togolese passport, and you people will struggle before you bring me to Ghana. Me, I won't go to your US, so only Togo here. After all, a few days I can smuggle and come and look after my family. We cannot be treating ourselves like that. But the longer he stays in the United States, the better for the United Party. Because then it tells you the credibility with which the NPP works. I was thinking that they would be the first party to be wishing that he comes to clear his name. And by clearing his name, it will affect the party, for the party to look good in the eyes of the people. Now that almost anybody that has spoken on this matter that I have heard insists that if they were Ofori-Atta, they will prolong their stay in the United States. What he's telling me is that yes, you have looted, you have bought with our money, stay there, don't come, so that this country suffers. Is that what you want for this country? So you see, when we are doing politics, we also want to be superpower, as has been referred by Zato. We can only be a superpower country when we expend our resources judiciously. We have undertaken a lot of projects that have taken monies out of this country. When he saw the need that he had to deal with his prostate, he realized that there was a Mayo clinic. So if I'm suffering from prostate cancer, where would I go? Would I have the opportunity of going to Mayo? When in fact you were the one controlling our resources? We cannot do that to ourselves. And this must be a lesson to all those in public service today, that the name of the game is service. I have never seen a servant that decide to loot the kingmakers. And that if you have any intention of looting from us, let what kind of Ofori-Atta situation has done be a guideline to you. And that the same measure, if it could be even higher measure, that will be used to checkmate you. We cannot let Kaya, the taxi drivers, the truck drivers, common teachers, and nurses who are struggling daily to pay their taxes to ensure that this country develops, be shortened. Remember what Dr. Samuel Amakwe told your reporter. Was it Alfredo Kanse during the DDEP melee? The man said, look, he was suffering from a lung cancer or a kidney. He had a kidney problem.
Is it the 81-year-old?
81-year-old. Yesterday, I played back the video. I cheered.
For that is a yen semwa sabre di abetoja FIU Ofori-Atta nensem no ehu. Probably he might be extradited soon. Is and say mene okase the US for a request for a letter and just truly Ghana for the extradition letter and extradition request ako mom. Yes, sorry. nsɛm we so na yenkopie mu ɛwɔ nsɛm foforo so awon asɛm a esi ene se taxi driver bi aya awonwade a ebi emada sebi amanfo obo na ba so papa se yenya citizen se te sei ɛwɔ Ghana krodwem ha dia ene o man no ebetimi afa ne ntamapa esfra ne nyina ene se akronfo bi a sebe wo mo eto share mobile money vendor bi eso a wo mo eje ne 7,700 Ghana cedis a wo mo di dwane no taxi driver no etimi abɔ ne homodene abɔ mo ato atwene etimi agisika na enemi no kase a police fo nsa etimi aso eye kronfo no emu ebaako na wacheche nsem se de nsem ni nyina si ye ba bia de ni si ye kwan a wo fa so de o machi lungu om kofa mu nyina no wachire mu a sabe krade abasobode akọ ede amano ansa na no busuafo ye be hwe eye nsem ni mu enti wei eye efi eye UTV for mu se taxi driver Joseph Kojo Cranton who chased 2 armed robbers and helped arrest one receives support enti na chese said the mekan wanya achede a ye de bo na ba so ewo niema anase a brave mover will make ye yenkotie onu akasa na no the same of how is the event unfolded.
All right, Abusia, I'm saying they say a taxi driver be our day in the car akopem akronfo mienu ama ba akwa adwane police for acheba akwa they say omo akọ robbing mobile money agents with 7,700 na one say didn't edit Mr. Joseph so is even saying na I didn't buy didn't see it and funny see it
you see and say me taxi driver na me nam na we could do baby after am kwabo factory and na do so dem and na me yi ko te say me do so
we there
ko te say me
Obama
me be ma say me do so me yi be ma say me do so no and na me ti konfo nke ho no me ntime e den ant na anyu so bi na me tena me ka ni and na me chase konfo no because asem we e bi ato me da konfo di me sika 60,000 and na me ko to ata dan chimba ho those time enti ama me ne konfo de
mani sia
enti se ba konfo de a e ha me papa enti ma me na agi sika no no me so me me sika no odi fi ana se me nim se aduma na oye no sika no ne dia na se ne dia e bia na konya problem e de e dia ma no nsadia konfo me chesi mo enti me chesi o ma we ba me no mo ne namu e ne mo pe robo factory ko fa
no musuka na
omo yisu moto moto 2 enti me no mo ne namu sa
moto 2
omo kita moto omo yisu moto
okay
omo ye 2 na mo transo
okay
na mo transo enti me no mo ne namu ko fa the mod hold me na ko fadama ase ho
na do machi
na me do machi
ei
je machi sa be fa shifi man na mo hold na fadama
school fadama wono
ai fadama hold me na ti kana me konde na anode me kana me kono na anode ko me imagine say ni atom no me na ntumi ni aba no ntumi so me dio machi ntimi dio machi a we ba say speed na me kono emu ohye na me de be chi omo dakuma Bombay junction so na ka no bomb
na de ka no bomb moto no
de bomb moto no
ei
nti no nya ko na edu bi chichi ma ho no na o ma wo no short be ba
why I'm Robert no do china na se do chechi no sato no ma robin ba ko na wi ei
nti no ma wo no short no but of course I can sign machi but ban sign machi na me di na chi di na chi a nti me ne ko ya still no mo say no akwa yi akukudro nti no ti me ka we ba nya me cha junction no de ka no
bono let's magic no magic na why obese mobile money
vendor no
magic sika
7,700 oh magic awon de ko
na o chese o ma de ko mo oh se kana say okay
kana dey say ba kana say
okay why are there na dey kuta we ma say cash price bi kuta o can want him where executive senators international ana omo ye den na ama o
but the mo kase ye school na de mama executive
senators international school
na the president ade fefefe e de mama
because of the juma oh okay
the ye bo Ghana amai no nti me dey say school we pa me dey o ma say
oh okay
school na say school na me pe bia school na e ka no pre nti obi bia mfa ne ba emra say school we na no credit na do private school so obey panipa e wo ye mam amai
okay that's beautiful ye Ghana mamba tsamo I would the I'm Robert Fat na de kana ko bom what jiska they say scan we fa
scan no police for you
but and I can't see police station Okay, on sabe kan wate. And yeah, my cash price. Now headmaster so one say headmaster. Obaka be for school no one na.
Executive Senators International School. American school a kind pie workers wa ha.
Okay.
Na the whole Ghana. Ya been what tech mupa se oba school ya try coding, try robotics, try electronics. After you try drone piloting, say number from Nkrumah to fly drones. Obviously you try tracking of devices.
Okay.
Say mobile phone ila anase okaira moto.
Nkwani na betima Hey.
It's about tech card ya.
Nkwani number 1.
Ya been.
Oh, okay.
Ade ba kunti a ema the boss Archbishop Adontin Boatin. I can't say young friend na young born abaso ne say entity pa a ye de man mo fra no. Emu ba ko e na young brother
I show no.
And I say no, I will say a friend na ye de ne ba ha. Na ye born abaso na encouraging na mo fa no say no mo nya to me who say
wow.
Entity pa ni church pa it say and entity and am I to say young brother say omra na yes we am na
I'm bana ba so mo money sika so fa ko ele ka no fa bi to no ho
ka na say no e ka bia e wo hu bia no Archbishop Adontin Boatin afasa ka ni
wow
ka wo hu bia afasa ka ni
na oni obi pese obes ku bia wo say o ka so ani say number ben na reach out you yenye
so pese oba with my friend number 0240 223196
okay
0240 223196
yeah that's it
okay Executive Senators International
was it the future is
the future
is us maka the most wakata we don't wakata we nim
the ntia makata we nim say emu kakra ebe we mu say because of back now escape you know.
Oh, okay.
Na ehu kakra na why ban so me car number no so no e wo abontin bebre the car no kwa den ka me share ban e say e be sa car number na den
amawa
ka be me de pa because the taxi driver e bia na obi akofa me minimum nyako na mo so na mo ne dem e da
ni ti no akoy bone nti na so for nim sie
se me nim sie ka
eno
me de nim sie a fie me mpie me fie san
eh wakoy papa na untimi se mpie don't worry, make us be fine. What I say, we are being say penny for me. I have over 3 million followers watching you right now. Be a solve what it's no mami nyao na eden nako. Now also what do we count?
Me bra no.
Okay.
Kudro pa fi yembo fra bre mu nyina wo kudro. Intimate say wadi sa adwuma no aboa Ghana man.
Na so be di na chi.
Na me se be di na chi. Important.
What's the taxi driver now?
Debbie me taxi driver.
Okay.
Your waste management.
Okay.
I'm into recycling.
Okay. No di na chi.
Na me di na chi nti baby oboko bia me na.
Usu di na chi. What says oye down for pa. Oye down for pa. Why are the artist? Na go point sia o. Nti cash price no. Na e de enuni. Maso he. Si ebusia we ade papa ya Adontin Boatin eye ade aboa ede boa Ghana
bato car na mikitare nyame ya media
nye wa odia
bato da bi ko fa car no we can pay 3 months ni am ko fa car no we can pay they said we can pay na me na incidents na eden esi they say no am wo fie isa ma mu ayeden ma mu fie pa wo ma ayeden ma jama kawo na no so gwafu ibi no obisa me say ni CS no gra no mempa says near the ember na me so says no beba the can dey work and pay am offer 3 months
we can work and pay
and
I can rare penny in sales
work and pay
no you say our police station there
when am I say car no police station but according to no say no the sika na here the here no say the sika na here no work and pay na here o de ma me sika na here
o be sabe kan ati
Abusia taxi driver nidi ede kojo na yekote na no disem efa the odiwa ofe mu baby ekone nam ye fada manyina nsana otimi eje momo vendor nisika ede amani sanse ono nso ya robe ne pen abasobodi a wonya ye no efri Bishop Adontin Boatin eho ne ni school a waten foforo no ene wo mo ede sa cash price no ede ball no abaso a police for ensanso aka kromfo ne baako a aka baako a wo mugusu aye nhwehwemu a wo mo ede bechi ne bedi ekire ne amamo emu update me no say the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa waba be make a shocking revelation. I'm sure most of Ghana for ye ha na yenim wo kire mu a His Excellency John Dramani Mahama e de atodwa se ono one movie on, I mean the Foreign Affairs Ministry no mo entonkoso na afi wo mo enkopie mu e wo Guinea nti enfoni atwegu no Guinea na baabi a wo mo no Kwame Nkrumah's villa I wo Guinea ye chemu say after the 1966 coup course so Kwame Nkrumah edi free Ghana kopie mu wo Guinea no na one president ana owo den no na ene eruli as co-president enti efia na omo etimu no na Kwame Nkrumah's villa wo ho no ma sabrede according to Kujeto Ablakwa president echum say wone Guinea ebusua no secretary ebusua ne enkasa na womu entimi emphasa villa na ema Ghana for yebeka say more like history sake any ade and to share screens so away fi Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa see on the instructions of the president John Dramani Mahama. We have initiated negotiations with the secretary family of Guinea to allow Ghana take possession of the house Osajefo Kwame Nkrumah lived and worked as co-president of Guinea in his last years. Intino Chema, Mampeni John Dramani Mahama Nshishe Yemuno Chese, Omo Ene Busia, yes, secretary Ebusian Nkasa. Na bebia, Kwame Nkrumah tina ya, wane Guinea, then president ne co-president wo Guinea no omumfasa dan no Ghana for se dem Mahama administration intends to renovate and preserve Nkrumah's Guinea residence not only as an act of respect but also to preserve the Osajefo's legacy and create a full experience for tourists to follow Nkrumah's outstanding life from Ghana to Guinea. Into mutual mama dwene se omobesiesie biaye honom na afe ababe ya hyensodie a echire obuo ni odo a yewo edema Kwame Nkrumah na afe nso no yebe eno kwan bi ebefa so a Kwame Nkrumah na brabo a wo free Ghana kobo ye wo Guinea no yebetimi aye ho enkai duma amanfo betimi akowa abrebia no makohwe ejumaso na wo ye so this landmark decision was conveyed to the secretary family on Saturday when Vice President Her Excellency Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang led us to visit the secretary family and also tour Nkrumah's abandoned home after the investiture of President Mamadi Dumu Boya. Intina chisomu chema ochema wone Ghana yen vice president ma meje no Opoku-Agyemang ene kopie mu wo ho amode ensuahye edema secretary busia na fe omobo entoa wo efia na Kwame Nkrumah etimu ansana wo free mu no. Ose Ghana's delegation was well received by the generations of the secretary family led by his eldest son inti mampeni secretary onde we free mu dada so mukopie ne bapeni energy wo mwa to a wonye mu edinsa wo. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is negotiating the terms and conditions and engaging preservations experts for his important assignment in the spirit of transparency and accountability. The Ghanaian public shall be fully apprised at every stage. Nkrumah never dies. Into way and sema Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa Edebeto Mountain. So in view of that, I'm sure a lot of people would want to see how the Nkrumah villa no it looks like and everything about it. Mind you, it's very closer to the Atlantic Ocean. Sabride and Saka and whole video kind Ketsi Kuku Anyido. Yebwa ko share info about all the places visited and how the place looks like. Yenjebre na yenshembra.
So you can start.
So I'm going to tell you a very interesting story. So this is the villa Kwame Nkrumah. Villa Kwame Nkrumah. This is where Kwame Nkrumah lived when President Secretary invited him here. So the coup was in 66. By March of 67, Kwame Nkrumah was here in Guinea Conakry as co-president. His friend Secretary invited him. Now let me show you. This is the gate. This is the gate to Kwame Nkrumah's villa. And then this is the gate to President Secretary's presidential villa. Can you believe it? So the co-presidency was just, yeah, so this is Villa Sily. And so this is where Secretary lived. And then Villa Kwame Nkrumah was where Villa Kwame Nkrumah lived. And this is it. So the co-presidency was just not by word of mouth. But this is how close they live. Double gate, one arc. And then when you enter, so we'll go inside, and then now I'll tell you the inside story of Villa Sily. So you follow me. So I'm taking my first steps into Villa Sily. Follow me as I take my first steps. Bonsoir. Ça va? Vous allez bien? Ça va. Bon, merci. So we are inside Villa Sily now. Bonsoir. Vous allez bien? Ah. So we are here. So this is the inside of Villa Sily. It still remains a colonial museum property. And so this is where he operated from. C'est la présidente de la maison? La maison là-bas, hein? Ok. So they are taking me to their residence. So you heard me speak my French asking, where is the residence? Okay. Yeah. So here we have, here is the residence of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Here was his residence at the Villa Sily. I'm just giving you, this is an oceanic view. So this is the Atlantic Ocean you can see. This is it. So obviously in his moments he would take a walk here, stand here and just look. Obviously he had moments where he would look and meditate. So just like the castle in Osu, this is it. This is a pool, a swimming pool. Obviously it has seen better days before, but so he could come out. So that's the residence that you are seeing in the background. So that's where Nkrumah lived. That's the residence. And so what I showed you earlier on is the frontage of the residence and what he will do, obviously, in his leisure time. So I'm going to now take you into the residence and we'll see how it was like as Nkrumah lived here as co-president of Guinea. President Secretary took him in. The coup was in 66. By, I think, March of 67, he had come into Guinea Conakry as co-president. Okay, so follow me as I walk you now into the residence. Yes. So this is part of the outside. So obviously this is a mini bar. So he could sit here with his guests, leisure time. That's how I descended into this part. And so we are now going into the house. Ça va? Oui. Okay. So I'm now entering into it. Good. So this is the lower deck. You can see some old chandeliers still hanging, even way back. Look at the architecture of the ceiling. So you can imagine it was a real mansion. And so this is the lower deck, and so this is the kitchen. And so this is where obviously Nkrumah's meals were being made. Yeah, he came with a chef or a cook from Ghana, because when he went to Hanoi on a trip, he went with Ghanaians. So after the coup, when he had to come into Guinea, he came with a Ghanaian entourage. And reading the story, I know he came with a Ghanaian cook. So obviously this is where his Ghanaian meals were being made for him from. Yeah, that's the story of Kwame Nkrumah. And so now we're going upstairs. So I'm climbing upstairs. Climbing upstairs. So this is the upper deck. So obviously this would have been the main hall. A bedroom. A bedroom. You still have some furniture sitting here. So you can guess what this would have been. And this is the door that leads to what the Americans would say the patio. So we call it a veranda outside the porch, where you could now see. So if you see, you can see the sea right there. So this is where Nkrumah will stand. If he didn't go down, this is where he'll stand on the porch, gaze at the sea, and ask himself, where did I go wrong? How was it possible that the Ghanaian people, and I don't believe it was the Ghanaian people, that those people organized the 66 coup? If you ask me, it wasn't needless, that coup, born out of nothing but jealousy. So this obviously is the master bedroom. So this is where President Nkrumah actually slept. And so you can follow me into the master bedroom. So he will come, and then, so this is the master bedroom. So this is the master bedroom view. So he could still stand here in his master bedroom and still, look, have this, panoramic view of the Atlantic Ocean. That's how the Villa Silla was created. So let's go into it deeper. So this is his bathroom. So that's the
the heater, water heater there. This is the toilet seat. So, I mean, for want of a better phrase, I'm showing you where Osajifo would attend to nature's call, as we all do. And obviously, this is where the shower would be. So, for the period that Osajifo was in Conakry, this is where he was having his bath. And the bathroom also has this beautiful view. So you can be bathing and still be enjoying nature. Obviously, these screens will come down so that, I mean, it's a bathroom, so you needed privacy. But otherwise, and if way back in the 60s, you had all this, you can imagine the extent to which President Secretary created comfort for some people of the Kwame Nkrumah here in Guinea. And I tell you, in fact, the road we used in coming here to the Villa Silla is known as the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue. And the way Kwame Nkrumah is cherished here in Guinea is unbelievable. So, I'm obviously coming down from the upper deck down to the lower deck. I'm giving you a very interesting tour of where and how Dr. Kwame Nkrumah lived his last moments here. And so this is where Kwame Nkrumah lived till he fell ill, and President Secretary, graciously his co-president, flew him to Romania for medical treatment, and unfortunately, Osajifo passed in Romania. Came back. Yeah, no, he didn't pass in Romania actually. He fell ill, he was sent to Romania, came back, and health conditions deteriorated, and as it is, we say the rest is history. But this is the Nkrumah story in Guinea-Conakry. And for me, it's a pilgrimage. As a Ghanaian, as a nation builder, as a nationalist, for me, it's a pilgrimage. I consider it a pilgrimage. And I'm happy that I've been able to come and see this for myself. Because Ghana's history can never be written without Kwame Nkrumah. As I have said, the revisionists are wasting their time. They cannot change history. But to come and see how Kwame Nkrumah lived his last moments, and the way, I mean, so just look up. So that's the security fencing. So you see the extent to which they created real security to protect the place. So just modeled around, the castle. And President Secretary obviously decided that Kwame Nkrumah should live in a certain way to ease his pain of having been ousted in that needless 1966 school. And this is the story. I'm glad I'm able to bring you into Villa Silla. Today is what? The 30th of December 2025. And for me, I'll forever cherish this moment. Glory to God that I've been able to see this for myself. Mau Akpenau. Thank you. God bless Ghana. And for me, may God bless my homeland Ghana and make my nation great and strong. Bold to defend forever the cause of freedom of rights. Fill my heart with true humility. Make me cherish fearless honesty. Help me to resist oppressor's rule with all my will and my might forevermore. And I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my strength and with all my heart. I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage won for us through the blood and toil of our fathers. And I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana. So help me God. To God be the glory. Osajifu, you never die. Nkrumah never dies. May your soul continue to rest in peace. And may God. President Secretary of Guinea. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. The interesting thing about Villa Silla and the bond between President Nkrumah and President Secretary. You see this opening. So this gate is the gate that links Villa Silla with the presidential palace where President Secretary himself used to live. I repeat, this gate you see here is the one that links Villa Silla with where President Secretary used to live. So this was the gate that Kwame Nkrumah will walk through, or President Secretary will walk through, and they will have their conversation. So just follow me. So same model gate. So this is the entry gate to the presidential palace itself. So don't forget, they were co-presidents, and this is the extent to which President Secretary exhibited it. And so obviously this part is undergoing some renovation. I hear the new president is renovating, creating a modern structure to house the surviving wife of President Secretary, who has expressed interest in moving to this place, and the current president has obliged. I mean, that's the extent to which respecting the memory of past leaders doesn't take anything away. It just helps. So this is what is being done. So you can imagine. So it was twin structures, and this is the wall. So that's the gate, and so this is the wall that separated both residential, as the French would say, infrastructure, la maison. And, so this is it. This is the great Ahmed Secretary of Guinea. This is the great Ahmed Secretary. I take off my hat and salute him. One of the great Pan-Africanists and freedom fighters, and for him to have decided to bring Nkrumah into Guinea and keep him here. And so this is where Secretary himself lived. That's the presidential. And just follow me around a bit, you'll see the other side of the structure. So obviously, it too had its security and orderlies, people who serve him, people who keep him, the valets, the cooks obviously lived in these parts. And so this is the walk up. So just like on the other side, you can imagine this is where President Secretary will stand, gaze into the Atlantic Ocean and have this view. I'm just picturing he and President Nkrumah, standing here or sitting here and discussing Africa, wondering whatever went wrong in Ghana. Why did they take Nkrumah out? I'm just envisaging those moments. So Yeah, you can imagine that, like we do, you know, you could just shout. I can imagine President Secretary just shouting, Kwame! You know, so good. If you look down there, so that's Kwame Nkrumah's compound. That's the villa Sily you are seeing there. So I could imagine Secretary standing here, and then Kwame Nkrumah standing there, and it's like, Kwame, ça va? Ça va bien? Vous allez bien? You know? And oh, it's amazing. And if you look on this side also, and so just a little peep. So a little peep, you can still see the antique furniture that President Secretary, you know, and look at the pictures on the wall. The pictures on the wall. So you see, this is the inside of the official residence of President Secretary. Look at the the old type of fan we used to use. Look at the pictures. Look at the TV. You know, so this is where you can imagine, President Nkrumah and Secretary will sit late into the night and just think about Ghana, Guinea, Africa. You know, so this is where Nkrumah will sit and write the things that he wrote in his Guinea days. And like I said in one of the earlier videos, for me it's a pilgrimage, and I'm glad, to God be the glory, that I've come to see this day. It's just re-energized me to go back to Ghana and continue to fight to make Ghana great and strong. And I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. To God be the glory.
Abusianfo yen sorry ensem we so dia na ene amene wo kase there've been an issue of abronye in the New Patriotic Party where the Bono regional chairman edema NPP ensem bebre wakeka na nsente mama for bebre linking to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia about the attacks, particularly what they echo a year prophets for a wokru mu ha eso na sa attacks ni emuno enene eye osofo usube pa the nation seer within Simbia Babetuja about a ya bronye any Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia because ye ba bronye pe na amafu bibri connection akwako da a ye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So now and someone a ye usubempa e dia betuja in achim said dia bronye ye ni de bibri be o attack a ye prophet ni ade Nkrumah or no crime in particular edu baby no na eye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ne yere se wo mo run errands e woni fie ho ani wono po na wa sizi wo mo kakra wo mo emma ho but enya de obeye nhwe han aye diama Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ne team ne abronye akeka de mo pe e de akere no yenko ne nkoti usubempa nsem odi tuja
ni say you being the first prophet who responded to Sasemi, you know, it may entrench a man for perception ni views say ebia na woni nipa na o ka ho asem no ana
debio to kan de say di for ni na woni unse wo no woni wadwuma to your specific so betimi abo adifo kroni
yes
tanko bo adifo kroni din anka me
and na wo mekasa
me kasa da ba wa mo adifo kroni din ni de let's say you can not say adifo a ye chenko nyina o Ghana ha because you specific so or you adifo PNI or you're specific.
Yes.
I mean, I like Bawumia and I am vice president, ex-vice president Bawumia.
Yes.
Bawumia so sabi, or baby fee all the time. Now, saying Bumna, me makwain, ma baby fee. Or baby fee, and wine baby fee, women on baby fee. Now, now, cry or casaro, what baby fee that?
Now, makwain, mama will fee you.
Oh, me, mum dear. Na me ani ni nyamanya be a cost to say the cabo metro be ye be and until a man of my close to me door a man could be all do say you make us let me say ɛyɛ Bawumia ɛna ɔno nyame de Ghana konya bɛ ma no a bɛba bɔnhyɛ bɛka ba nyame nka nkyerɛ me
in the 31st January dia
saa nkrofo ni bi sɛ mɛbɔ mpaeɛ paa de ama sɛbe bi a NPP wɔn te sɛ Bawumia ne nkrofo me menyɛ because abronya betro no odi abuso patem nkrofo bebre di atem ebia ne de kabo betro no ma ofikan na wo kita we a na wo samba me nkyɛn na wo ne obi a wo no pɛsɛ otu franka NPP mo samba me nkyɛn sɛ me mo mpaeɛ ma mo menyɛ
sofo na che say 31st January dia e beba so no nyame nka bibia nkyerɛ wo mfa ho
opani me nyim de obedi nkunim but me nka because me ho na nhia me
eno no unim anase nyame
abato no mko akoto no me nhia me o me twa national one no enti say eba ifaka bose onji edifo nia 2028 me kyerɛ ewa Awurade Yesu din mu de obewi ni election no opa oma yen challenge ni yen hwedi bisi
so for on 31st you now say unim de obewi na ye nim na unim anase nyame na eyi akyerɛ which is way
nyame ni akyerɛ me aminim ba me nya magene se meka because o mo yi no mo koye no 777 radio se me twa national one no because me se me won pa bo bi boss ni am me body support me man panin ono ti Ghana kunya so a obu oman no enti mpaebo bia e fata so say ye boma no e na me bo ma no ti me se me de mi ona me bo mpaia ma no enti sabe me try national one no
na some national one no so for primary season no mudi yi nipa oba be gina national one no enti
enti obu nko yimra so mu kwa koyi omu nko yimra omu nko yi ba 2028 10 actually eno na mema kabo ehu ne say you odi for Ghana eno na nyame be na meso ache de obedi nkunim e wo saa battle no me be si bibia fintimi nsesa no because as no kan ya ne de utimi so katetia adifo nyinara enti tama ka se nko betimi abodi nko bodi a ame osu me pa me meso so
o ma me kasa
but se waka fran ne de na ke se nyina ka hu bi eti mama me yi ano a obi be gene se aden eyodifo osu be mpa aden eyodifo asmasi eyodifo asmasi ana enti omra me bodin me de no so omra me bodin o me boni pakra
Prophet also bempa and ayekoti nensema wode tuja about this whole year attack on prophet and I think so the one who edify a year 31st January primary sa NPP ebe kono eho wachem say who they were who so onka because ehu ehia no yen nyina nim say for some time now the prophet also bempa has not been really cool with a year the NPP amanyukuno. Now in the quest to know who is going to win the primaries no and no and a software back wa sebi waji dini pa ewo kumasi abonten so waba abontene abechiri mu se nyankopo wa yi akyere no we nipa ube wini eye 31st January NPP presidential primaries no ne nyina nim se candidates for an AF5 Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Ken Ohini Japan eye Brian Champon ye wo Dr. say the chum and afezu Dr. friend saying yera Japan intina chese sa nipa 5 we no onyankopon ada na di akyere ne nipa obewini abato no long talk yenkuti nkomhye imra
Mr. Kofi me ne wudi nkomo na
okay
onyame homo shame se candidate no obedi nkunim no enka me mfa ni din entudwa
yeah they are ready near party no
Jesus Christ
abam
libra bria gunda na bara
hom ne sane
Maluya mazandiri kama Jesus
hom ne sane
Mr. Kofi me ba to bra kame ba be kono me bia me nsem se no ana edin kakake bia be to me nsem
edin be ya
Jesus Christ
bodino nyankopon homa ye bold ensrowe
Mr. Kofi ye wo candidate ba ko bi wo mu a senka or resign 2028 kom ombetimi aba power easy
eno de emfanto
but no question no say 31st way candidate obedi nkunim no Jesus Christ unsanu adwuma Tuntum wo wasora bofu wasori wo awutifu wo nina bomukase Shiranka Udi Jesus
Shiranka Udi
Mr. Kofi na shem kasa
Kasa
my God me hu say me ba to me be wie ya o omo tu aba ni wie ye no Jesus Christ dia onya ye no dodo na ani anye dodo na ani anye Mtawafi di o wene ye no dodo na ani anje
ko
bana ba ko bi wo mu a na dodo na ehwe se
o ne benya
anko ne benya oh my God Mr. Kofi no kwasam ne se di o wene 31st no ya wura me wura mu se sia no me hu se wa we no dodo na ani anye na amwo mu 2028 no
na ehwan
96.3 but die na edom na ehwese nkom be yi no sa nka omuyi sa ono dia nka bia be easy ama omu oh Jesus mtako mi modi no mtako mi ba choda be na be se me sa ba ha biem
ya mfa di no enwa
yes
I was saying, not just a prophecy who in this room, me say, me Jimmy who but near equation in the same. Ada so for besa bano obeba Mr. Kofi show no so ye be hu nipa obe win elections no ye for munsi ha na ye nda mo asese munya bread hwe